Hello, everyone. Welcome to My Child is in Prison Now What podcast. It's your girl, Tiffany Nicole. Today, I have a unique type of episode today. And happy Sunday, everybody. But today, I have three beautiful ladies today. Today's episode is about resources. And if you're stuck, if you're trying to figure out which way to go and you don't have any resources, I have three powerful women that are going to help you guide you. We have Tammy, who's in Wisconsin, and we have Gigi, who's going to help with mental health, and then we have Denise, who is part of Disarming organization, who helps with parents who unfortunately maybe budget is tight and you can't get to your certain location, but you need funding to help you get to your flight. This is what her organization offers, and I'm so happy to have these ladies here on a wonderful Sunday. Happy Sunday, ladies.
Happy Sunday.
How is
Yes.
everybody feeling?
Doing well.
Good.
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 Good. I'm just gonna dive on in. So that's my personality type. I'm just diving on in. So I want the everybody to know who everybody is. So Tammy's out of Wisconsin. So
Yep.
Tammy, can you share with the viewers, who you are and the things that you bring about?
Yeah. My name is Tammy. I am, as Tiffany said, in Wisconsin. Thank you all for being here today. I actually have a son that's incarcerated, so I've had a little bit of experience with the system, um, good, bad, and otherwise. I want to start off by thanking everyone for being here today. If you're here, it's probably because you care so deeply about someone that you have that is incarcerated. And I want to thank Tiffany for this wonderful group that she has along with the podcast, because without her, a lot of us would probably still be struggling. So, um, with that said, th- there's so many resources in the Department of Corrections. First of all, that would be the first place I would navigate just for when you have a loved one incarcerated. The Department of Corrections has like a resource guide that tells you, how you can visit, when you can visit. First, you have to fill out an application, it has to be approved before you can visit. The first time me and my husband went there, he wasn't able to get in because he had bad knees, and we didn't, or knee replacements, and we didn't know that he had to have a special medical form to get in. So I went in and he did not. So that was our first lesson. Then I went to the resource guide. So the Department of Corrections resource guide has video visit opportunities, phone visit opportunities, all that kind of stuff, how to schedule those things, how to mail to your loved one, no glitter, no stamps, all those rules and regulations.
We're not going to dive into all of that yet, though, Tammy. I just wanted people to
Okay.
get an intro of who you are
No,
and
sorry.
what state.
Okay.
That's okay. You went right on in, but I want to make sure.
You said let's dive in.
I just want to just give people who Tammy is, and if you have a child that's incarcerated, just a little bit
Yep.
brief. So Gigi, I would like for you to go to share, who you are. I mean, I just said your name, but I'm just saying, like, what state, and then
Sure.
your child, and if you want to share a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a mom first and foremost, and I also have a son who's incarcerated, recently sentenced, currently still in county, but will eventually go to Department of Corrections for some time. I'm also a licensed clinical psychologist and nationally certified school psychologist. I think this experience, has rocked my world a little bit too. So I've navigated it and would love to be able to share some of the things that I'm aware of and help create resources. But, as others have said, Tiffany, I'm so grateful to you and all the mamas. That's what I call you all, to my son too, the mamas. He knows the mamas are out there and praying for him. And it has been such a lifeline.
Thank you, Gigi. Denise.
Hi, I'm Denise Miller. I'm sorry I'm in the dark. I apologize. And I have a scratchy voice, so I'm doing the best I can. But I think Satan did not want me here, and so he's going to lose. So here I am. I am the director of Disarming Love Ministries, and our focus is on walking beside the families of inmates. we one of the things that we focus on is helping with the travel expenses that many times keep loved ones from being able to visit with their loved one. People don't realize that there's a lot of cost issues to visitation. Not that it costs to actually visit, but to travel, the gas, the time off work, and so forth. And so God laid that on my heart to help families connect. He's all about connection and relationship. And he wants families to be able to be with each other and see each other. So that's one of our driving things that we do. We also try to offer a lot of support, any resources that we can, prayer, and just try to uplift the families as much as possible. I do not have a loved one in the prison system, and I really never have, which is really weird because that's why I tried to tell God when he called me to this. I said, God, I know nothing about this. This makes no sense. Like this can't be you. It has to be bad pizza. But yeah, so we've been around for a little while. Moses looks great compared to me with my arguments with God. And he was like, nope, it's you. This is totally you. I did have a daughter who was all set for full high school or full college scholarship to any place in the state. And she dropped out of high school 7 weeks before graduation. So I do know what it's like to watch somebody you love make a mistake, a pretty big mistake in their life, but nothing illegal. And I think that gave me just a little taste, just a small taste. I'm not comparing that to what you guys are facing, but some taste of what you guys, would just be shell shocked with what was going on. So anyways, that's what we do.
Thank you. So, you guys, I just say the one thing about this is how the devil mean it for your bad, but God makes it for your good. Because let's just say this. If my son didn't go to prison, Tammy, if your son didn't go to prison, Gigi, if your son wouldn't go to prison, we wouldn't be friends right now.
Right.
And Denise, you would I know you don't have a child incarcerated, but you've reached out to me. And now we have created a friendship and a bond that I know it's bad, but on the flip side of things, I try my best to have a different perspective and look at us. Now we're creating a safe place, creating resources, and that's how we're linking up to help other mothers who are struggling right now. And as I speak about the word struggle, Gigi, I would like for you to chime in when it comes about the mental health part for the sake of the inmate and then for the sake of the mother.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the biggest things I'll start with us first, because that's my lived experience, right? I think, and this has been through my own therapy, like most good therapists, I have a therapist, and that's been a big piece. I don't know that alone is enough, but in terms of mental health, I think it's a tightrope that we walk. And I think that we're grieving, but it's an unusual grieving because the person we're grieving is still alive. But there are so many unknowns. And so I think we can find ourselves, feeling anxious quite often, feeling depressed even, just because we're feeling as though we're overwhelmed and so many things are out of our control. Trauma, one of the things we know about trauma is, many of us have had one or more traumas in our life, and this alone, having an incarcerated loved one is. And I don't know about all the other mothers, but I know for me, like even walking up to the courthouse now brings this sense of panic sometimes. And so I think the thing that, we can kind of get into some approaches and where to find folks and support and all of that. But, I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just being able to stay grounded in the moment. And I think like you, Tiffany, too, figuring out what is it that I'm supposed to learn and what path is God leading me to fight this fight. And then for my son, nothing major diagnosed. He does have a history of ADHD, so impulsivity has always been a piece of it, and that sure is a part of the equation that has brought us to where we are. Substances, all of those things, and I think probably maybe some untreated mental health things are going on. I think one of the things as a mother that was hard was I could find resources, but I couldn't find resources for a reluctant kid, for a kid that wasn't really willing to meet them where they were. or resources for his dad and I to be able to go for it. So I think that's one of the things that I'm interested in finding is for those who hopefully don't have to walk our path and can prevent things, what things are out there. And then for those of us that are, just entering this, it's such an overwhelming thing when we're entering, but also when we're already down the path. Like there are a lot of things out there. And I think it's just, it's great for us to be able to talk and figure out what some of those resources are.
So what's for the resources, where will people be able to find some resources when it comes to the mental health?
Yeah. So one of my favorite sites for finding a therapist is Psychology Today. If you just Google find a therapist, Psychology Today will be one of the first ones that pops up. They have a great search tool. You can put in your zip code or where you live. And then if you drop down with the filters, you can filter out by insurance. You can filter out by location. You can filter out if you want to do individual or group support. And if there's a specific approach. So if trauma, for example, is also in your background, this experience brings up all of those fight, flight, freeze kind of things for all of us. You can click all of those and then find therapists that are in your area. The other is just the national boards. So the National Association of Social Workers is an excellent place to go for a licensed clinical social worker. For psychologists like myself, the American Psychological Association and Virginia State Board in our state, but other states would have their state board of psychologists. And then there are counselors, licensed professional counselors, usually having at least a master's or maybe a doctorate in clinical mental health counseling. So there are a variety of professionals. I think the most important thing, not so much the training and the degree, but do they have experience with working with mothers, with working with trauma, and working with people who have a loved one who's incarcerated.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Now, Tammy, what are the biggest challenges that mothers face in the state of Wisconsin when having a child incarcerated?
Honestly, some of the biggest challenges are the prison system is so understaffed and
Mhm.
overworked. The guys don't get outside but an hour a day, and they're in their cell 23 hours a day. The commissary is so like almost unaffordable, and the state takes well, like for myself, it takes almost 70% of everything that I put on his commissary,
Mm,
and where it's all going, I'm sure it's going somewhere. I'm sure some of it in the end is going to help him, but it almost makes it like unaffordable to, it's almost like another house payment. That's a big obstacle. Honestly, visiting is pretty good. It's a 3-hour visit, but it's hard to get in too. You have to book it like a month in advance. And when you work, that's hard, to book it a month in advance. Those are probably, while he's incarcerated, probably the main obstacles I've had. And if there's like been a question or two pop up that, I've wanted to call the prison, somebody will answer the phone right away, but then to get an answer, it's like they're so understaffed. Really, nobody really is there to actually answer your question. So I've done all my research myself. Those are some, and then just I don't know, like Gigi said, just having a loved one, you're grieving, even though he's alive, you're grieving him in a way, but he's still there. So it's just a very weird, odd, feeling that you have all the time.
right.
And same thing, walking up to the courthouse, I get like the phone rings. I'm like, now what's it going to be? You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's
Yes.
a lot, but with, groups like yours, helps us go to work every day and put a smile on our face and get through the days. 100%.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Now, Denise, for your Disarming Love organization, how does one apply? And is there criteria for a mother who, for example, I live in California and my son is in Illinois, and do I email you? Do I call? can you give us a breakdown on how that works and how a listener who is watching this right now and maybe they don't have the funds to go see their child in a different state, how would they be able to apply for this program that your organization offers?
Sure, absolutely. They just need to email us. Sorry. Just email us at disarminglovehouse@gmail.com. And I would need, they don't even have to give me their real names if they don't want to. I know that that could be something that a family's not ready to disclose, to just anybody. They don't want to tell, a lot of posts online are anonymous and so forth. But I do need to know where you're traveling from and where you're going to. And I need to know which prison your loved one is in and how many people would be traveling. So if you really want it to be you and your husband, or if you really want to take it their younger siblings, that kind of thing, I would need to know. If you have your own vehicle and you could drive your own vehicle, or if your own vehicle is not reliable or you don't have a vehicle, I would need to know that. So if you're scared of flying, if there's no way you're getting on a plane, please tell me that, because we have to look at all the factors of the cost before we can determine what we can and cannot do. But that's generally what I need to know. I don't have to have your inmates, your loved one's name or anything about that at this time. If you are selected, I will have to have your actual real name and information for tax purposes and for our board. But you could just simply send me a very basic, information. I'm trying to go from here to there, or you could write me a whole 10-page letter if you want, hon. I don't care. It's fine either way. But just email us at disarminglovehouse@gmail.com. And we have a website, it's disarminglove.org.
Perfect. Now, here's a question for you, Dr. Gigi, is why do you think so many mothers hide behind this pain of having a child incarcerated?
I mean, I think it's shame, right? I think one of the beautiful things about the group and the space that you've created for all of us is to take away that stigma. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head in terms of the number of people that have experienced incarceration, but
1.8 million people are incarcerated.
I knew you'd know. I knew you'd know.
And 1 out of 4 people has either had a loved one incarcerated. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we all know someone who has been directly impacted by this. And I think rather than hiding and feeling that shame, I love that we're speaking up and saying, no, these are your friends, your neighbors, your family members who are impacted, and the system's broken. And even apart from that this is a hard road. This is something that we do need support for, and to be able to speak up and talk about that is an important thing.
Yes. Tammy, do you want to chime in on that too?
Yeah. I feel like, I've been doing this journey for about 10 years, not all prison, but, the up and down of, drug abuse and stuff. And honestly, right from the get-go, I would speak about it because I always looked at it, the more people that would pray for my son and myself, the better off we would be. The more I talked about it, the more resources I found. Just talking to people, I could talk to somebody down the street, not having a clue, that they knew anything. And all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, I know so-and-so, maybe they can help you, or, you know what I mean? Or I know of a sober house, a really good one that he could go to, because we all know that they're not all good either. You know what I mean? And I honestly 100% believe in networking. And the more you network, the more resources you're going to have, because the resources, that are out there on the internet, they're not all bad and they're not all good, but it's, trial and error. And if you don't have to trial and error to go through those resources, and you can get firsthand from people, that's 100%. Yeah. So I feel like, and it is shame too, that a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but what did you say? 1 in 4?
It's 1 in 4 people that knows either has a loved one or knows someone that's incarcerated.
There you go. That's a pretty crazy statistic. I never thought I'd be here. I'm sure Gigi, you probably never, Tiffany, you never thought you'd be here. Like,
that's not what we plan for, hope for our
exactly.
children, right?
Yep. Just like they don't wake up and be like, oh, sorry, what was that?
So, what was that?
All three of my kids were going to be in college on full scholarships, guys.
There you go. Yeah.
That was my plan.
Nobody can plan what's going to happen. I mean, even our kids, they don't, wake up and say, oh, yep, I want to do something bad, so I go to prison,
Right.
So
for the mothers that are in Wisconsin, what programs exist for mothers that are in Wisconsin that have children that are incarcerated?
The best program that I have been to is a family and friends support group. It's called CJ Lomas Recovery Foundation. They lost a son 13 years ago to a heroin overdose, and they formed this foundation to help guys stay in sober houses and stuff, because that's what their son would have wanted. And then in addition to that, they started a family and friends support group. With their group and your group are the two that I belong to, that I'm most passionate about. And 100%, I would not have navigated the last 10 years like I have without them. They do it on Zoom so that more people in Wisconsin can, join. And it just helps everybody support everybody. You come in and you don't know where to turn, and everybody talks and you realize you're not alone. And, there's hope at the end of the day, you know what I mean? No matter what your situation is. So that would be my number one resource, along with, I have quite a few like sober homes and stuff that they're not for obviously people incarcerated, but people coming out or people having issues that are not, that are not yet there, to maybe save them. So I would say that's the number one.
Okay. Thank you for that. And okay, Denise, so you have read so many emails, so many letters.
Yes.
What is one that sticks out the most, the story that a mother wrote you about being part of this, or being eligible to be able to have a free voucher?
One of the most ones that stick out is actually one that we're going to be helping. And her son is autistic and 19 years old, never lived away from home, and is now in prison for a self-defense kind of crime of some sort. But she is a single mother of 5, and all 5 of her children have special needs. And so not only is she dealing with her oldest, who's autistic and in prison, but now she's also still has the other ones at home. And just to take them to go see him, he's 7 hours away from home, and that's a lot of mouths to feed on a road trip. That's a lot of miles on a car. And so that one really stuck out to me. One that we have not been able to meet that haunts me is one that's on disability, the mother is. And the son initially didn't sound like he was that far away until I really started looking at the logistics of it. And the prison is near an airport that hardly ever gets flights every other day. So there are no cheap flights there. It's like a 14-hour drive. And like I said, she's disabled, and she wants to take her mother with her, who really desperately wants to see her only grandson. But her mother's 89, and she doesn't know how much time her mother has. But because of the logistics, it was going to be the most expensive of the ones that I had received, and I just couldn't do that one yet. So I'm still hoping to meet that need.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one that really haunts me. And the idea, the stigma that you guys face, I mean, you were very much the hidden victims of crime to me. I didn't really know anything about the prison system, but once I started learning and got opened my eyes to things, it makes me so angry that you guys get painted with the same brush, with the same, with the same stigma. There's no reason for anybody to be ashamed. It's not your fault. It's your child's decision. It was your child's choice. They're given free will. And I just want to tell you guys that, I'm coming at it a little different than most of you, but I want you to know that not everybody thinks that you're these bad people. Okay. There are some people out there like me that says, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. And it's got to change. It's got to change.
Yeah, you're like in the small percentage because let's be realistic. Life is about judgmental. You can see something on the just like can we be honest? We just got done judging that couple that just got caught in the
Right.
can. Like, come on, like
I was gone.
Okay, yeah,
Don't you
but
have Wi-Fi? I heard a little bit of it on my way
yeah,
home.
but I'm just saying we
By
live in a
then, some
society
Christians were
that
online saying, hey, wait a minute, guys, we shouldn't be doing this. There's somebody on the
yeah,
other side of this.
yeah.
So
But we
I didn't
do
get it from the
judge,
beginning,
yeah.
but yeah, I probably would have been doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's we as society, we just that's just our human
I
nature.
was
But
just,
you are part of the 1%. You probably are part of the 2% people that don't look at us like
it,
that.
it's
And we
because
thank you
God
for that.
opened my eyes, and also because I went through the shame of my daughter dropping out of high school. And people, I mean, I know how
Well, I would say that's not the same
inconsequential
though.
that is
I would say
to
that's not the
people who
same
have
though.
their child in prison.
Denise,
But
let me just stop you. That's not the same. No, dropping out of that's not the
I
same.
know
No.
it's not the same.
Okay, that's not the same. Okay, because we got
It's
people
not the
that's
same.
okay. Okay.
But I'm telling you, even with something as small as that,
Mhm.
people stopped talking to me. They didn't get invited to graduations and stuff. It's not the same at all. I get that.
Okay.
But it's like, let's multiply that by 1,000,000 when your child's in prison. It was just a small, little thing of people didn't know what to say to you, so they don't talk to you at the very
Right.
least. Plus, they think you're contagious and your child's going to all of a sudden, their child's going to do something stupid.
Right. Dr. Gigi. So for people who don't know Dr. Gigi and I love these glasses. Is this turquoise? Is this Tiffany color? Is
They
that
are.
baby
They
blue?
are the only Tiffany I own, but yes.
I was wondering if that was Tiffany blue. Great color. So for what the resources that you have for the mental health now,
Yeah.
can people personally reach out to you to have a session, or is there? Please give
So
us.
I personally work with children and teens and families, and I'm only licensed in Virginia. So I only work with folks who are in Virginia, generally in person. So in the DC metro area is where I am, but some virtual. But there are a number of resources. So that Psychology Today is one. When we're done, Tiffany, I actually pulled together some resources of various support groups and things that are located throughout the country. So when we're done, I'll make sure I share those with you so they can go into the show notes or what have you.
Because you can put in the comments. You can put in the comments too.
It's going to be a lot. So
okay, it's okay. You can put in the comments. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But there are a number of organizations. So like here in Virginia, Offender Aid and Restoration does peer groups. There's the Prison Family Alliance that also has a number of groups and resources and referrals and those kinds of things. So me personally, it would be hard to reach out to, although I'd be happy to, our mom's group, if I can help guide people to getting help, I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah. I think another underutilized resource, because so many of our children are also impacted by substance use, abuse, and dependence, is Al-Anon. That's really been a helpful thing too, I think, in terms of just understanding where my responsibility ends and where my son's responsibility begins. That's also been a helpful resource. And they too, there's a great app now with Al-Anon. You can locate a meeting anytime, and many of them are virtual.
Now, what is that? I've never heard of that before.
So we know Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. For those who are addicted and using, Al-Anon is for family members of someone who's addicted. And so it's really about kind of breaking the enabling behaviors and also just realizing where our personal responsibility begins and ends and where our child's personal responsibility begins and ends. And so it's been a really wonderful resource as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that program. Okay. And so you're out of Virginia. So if anybody that wants to reach out to Dr. Gigi, I'm going to put that all in the comments and share the show notes to be able to contact even Tammy, the information that you have, and then Denise too with Disarming Love. I put your website everywhere on my I've talked about you on my TikTok page. So
we are really new. So we are just getting out there and being able to help people. So
Yeah, no, and listen, and I'm praying that God sends you more funding too, because at the end
Yes,
of the day,
definitely.
what you're doing, it takes money. It
Yes,
takes
it
money for
does.
all of this stuff that we're doing, that we're helping people.
Right.
We can, I know, listen, I love Jesus, Abraham, and Jesus, Mama. However, it takes money too to produce, to make things happen. We can pray all day, but we all people need funding. So I'm gonna
Right.
pray that
Thank you.
that people can donate to your organization, because we're starting a nonprofit. You do have to go through those bumps where you need more money to help people,
Right.
like the
Like
lady
I
with the
would
5 children. Like
right.
I'm pretty sure
There
that's
were
gonna
so
be
many
expensive.
I wasn't able to meet. Those are,
Yeah.
that was one I was and one that I'm not, able to, then it's kind of haunting me. But
So when you're not able to meet that, are you able to just maybe put them like on like, I don't want to say the shelf, but maybe put them pending, and maybe you'll come back to them, and then where you have enough funding, you're able to
that's what
assist
I'm
them?
doing right now.
Okay.
I've been trying to find out how the mom might go about getting a hardship transfer for her son because he's in a federal prison,
Okay.
and there's a federal prison much closer to the mother.
Oh,
And if they could get a hardship transfer of some sort from the state he's in to the state she's at, that would help tremendously with her being able to visit. And then we're talking about a whole lot more visits, hopefully, than just one. So I know that somebody did it in Texas and
Hmm.
was able to get a hardship transfer. He had a 16-hour bus ride to go see his son, and he was disabled, and he was able to cut it down to about like 2 hours
Two
when they
hours.
got him
Okay.
moved to a different prison.
Now, how many moms do you guys normally help on a monthly, just an estimate?
Right now, about 2 or 3
Okay.
is all we're able to do.
Okay.
But
And
I
it's
mean,
just for mothers?
the average trip is $544
Okay,
of
545.
each trip. The average of what we're seeing, and it can vary a lot. But
Okay.
there hasn't really been any that's under 300. You
Mm,
know, to
okay.
just for the gas and the food. We want to cover everything, tolls, everything they could encounter, because something as small as the tolls might keep them from being able to go, and we don't want to pay for everything and then something like that keep them. So we want to make sure we're covering everything.
That's crazy that you say tolls. That I think about it. I spent $158.74 for tolls when I drove to.
See,
I didn't even think about that. I mean, I
I
didn't
mean,
think about that part. I paid because I got a rental
I
car,
didn't either
but I
initially.
paid for the toll pass thing. But the first
Mhm.
time I forgot to tell the person I needed a toll pass, but I ended up getting charged to my credit card that much, $158.74. I was like, why am I getting charged? And it was all because of tolls.
Mhm.
Actually, the mom asked me. She said when I called her and told her, she said, Are you gonna cover tolls too?" And I said, "Absolutely." How much are tolls?
Wow. I know.
Because
I know.
it was one thing I had forgotten, but we do not want, if we say, oh, we can cover everything except your gas to and from the airport, or except the parking at the airport, that one thing might keep them from going. And
That's true, because you gotta pay for all of that, the toll. I
yeah,
didn't
and
even
we
think
don't want
about
them
the
to say, oh,
tolls.
I can pay for it, and then something come up and them not, and then the other all fall through. So yeah, we kind of have to do it all or nothing, kind of.
Oh,
I've had people say, oh, if you could just help us with the cost. But the problem is we all know life happens, right? And you might think you could cover half. And if we cover half, let's say we pay for the air flight and you can't pay for the rental car, you have to cancel. And then we put out the money for the air flight, and that never happens. And that's the whole point of the whole thing, is to connect you. And so you can wrap your arms around your child. There is nothing like seeing your child in person. My daughter worked at a summer camp when that flooding at a summer camp happened. I couldn't wait to get my arms around her. I knew she was perfectly fine, but I couldn't wait to get my arms around her.
Yeah. I mean, I
And
think that is one of the things that I haven't hugged my son in a year and a half.
yeah, that's
And
just
it's
ridiculous.
hard.
It makes me so angry.
It's hard.
I
And where he is currently does not allow for even in-person visits, in terms of having even that glass partition between us.
really?
because he's still in a jail, right?
Well, no, but he was in another locality where that was possible. I think that's the thing, is things vary so much from
Mhm.
facility to facility,
Yes.
to facility.
That's why I have
Um,
to know which facility they're at too. To
yeah, and I think Tammy brought up a really good point too. I mean, one of the things that I think a lot of people are facing is the understaffing piece. And so a lot of our loved ones are on lockdown, not because of something that they've done or something that's occurred, but just because of understaffing and other
Right,
issues.
because if you could keep them locked down, you don't need as many people, right? I mean, you could run with a smaller staff. I live in Ocala, Florida, and we have the largest women's prison in the country here. I heard there's one in California that comes up a close second, but it's the Lowell Correctional Facility, and it comes up in the 25 worst prisons in the world. Lowell is on it.
Yes.
And so they are practically my backyard, 15 minutes from me. And I've seen the signs ever since I've lived here for 17 years, how they're always begging people to work at the prison.
Yep.
Always. And I've
Same
known
here.
people who worked at the prison who also had, like, they couldn't deal with the us against them attitude anymore. They were like the correctional officer that was trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And there was so much of an attitude. It's us guards against them that she was in mental turmoil. So she had to leave the job after many years.
Our prison was built to hold 1,600, I think, and there's 2,400 in there currently.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
Now, see, ours isn't even full. That's why I get confused. People are like, what do you think of Alcatraz, the alligator Alcatraz? And I'm like, I honestly think, I don't know. The ones right here around me aren't completely full. So I don't understand really, but I don't know.
So, Dr. Gigi, what state is your son in?
He's in Virginia.
So Virginia, okay. And are you able to see him at some point? Because it's been, you said a year.
Yeah, once he's transferred to Department of Corrections, then depending, I mean, and that's, where he is in the state, it'll, could be a couple hour drive, it could be several hours. But yeah, eventually I will be able to have in person and will be able to put my arms around him. Yeah.
Oh,
What I can gather, they took COVID and used it as an excuse to cut out in-person visits at every jail that I've heard of in the country. My local jail does not have in-person visits. It's all digital and you have to pay for it, of course, because you have to pay for everything, right? It's a tax on the families. That's all it is.
Of our children, I also just wanted to give a shout out to another organization. It's actually one of the mamas that turned me on, Second Chancers. It's headquartered here in Virginia, in Charlottesville. Jesse Croson, who was formerly incarcerated. They have a wonderful mentoring program for our kids, and they also are forming business partnerships and juvenile detention visits to help with mentoring of our youth that are also facing incarceration. So I just want to give a shout out to that. I think they have a PO box number that our children can write to. They'll match them with someone who could be a mentor to them too.
Oh, that's nice.
Is that for them when they get out or when they're in?
No, while they're in.
While they're in there, while they're in. Okay.
Like almost like a pen pal.
Yeah, well, and I think the idea is to continue to mentor throughout the whole process. So how to deal and contend with the stressors of being incarcerated and how to best make it out the other side, hopefully to a different path, but then also to help with, because we know that I think those are the things that many of us lose sleep over is after they're out, how are our kids going to make sure that they have employment and housing and all the things. And and so having someone who's walked that path obviously can be a really helpful thing.
I feel like men or women, anybody in long-term recovery is total 100% help to our kids, as far as like counseling and mentoring. And I've had a lot of the problem is most of the prisons won't let them in to talk to them because they're felons. Like,
I've heard of that being a problem too. I went into a prison here. We did not get into Lowell. We went to the reception center, the women's reception center, with Victorious Living magazine, and they are a prison magazine. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's all stories of hope and redemption and all positive, upbeat stories. Now they've gone to being on their tablets. You know what I mean? I don't think many of them actually get the physical copies anymore, but they send out about 50,000 with every publication. I think they're in about 30 states now. But I met their production manager at a conference I was at a couple years ago. And she was a formerly incarcerated lady who had been incarcerated most of her adult life. And she had, they have a pen pal program that they're right to inmates, and they have people volunteer to do that. And she started doing that when she got out. She volunteered to be one of those pen pals. And then she eventually ended up working and being a big part of the magazine. So, but as far as people who are in prison, you might look and see if that's an option. It's pretty affordable. I think it's like $30 a year to send that to your loved one. And then for families walking through this, I have found nothing. Like I said, I'm looking at this from a different angle, but I do know a lady, Carol Kent, whose son is serving life here in Florida. And she was completely stunned by what he did. And she wrote a few books. She was a popular author and speaker before this happened. She was an international speaker for women's events, for Christian women's events. But she wrote a book, When I Lay My Isaac Down, which talks all about the process or what happened and what they went through with all of it, which I actually gave to a friend whose son suddenly found himself incarcerated, and the friend found it completely invaluable. So I highly recommend Carol's book. Dateline even did a report on her son because it was kind of a unusual story. But her name's Carol Kent. She's got about 15 books out. But When I Lay My Isaac Down, A New Normal is her follow-up book to that. And Between a Rock and a Grace Place all deal with that. And she's got one called Waiting Together too that deals with all the crazy delays in the justice system. You know, waiting for this hearing, waiting for that hearing. It deals with that. That's great for families also.
That's good. That's really good. Wow, you guys gave a lot of information, resources. Oh my God, I think this is so much needed because people, can we just think about when we first got the news of our child being incarcerated, they were in county jail. Like, imagine how we had no help, I can't speak for you. I had no guidance, no nothing. And I think more and more mothers need resources because I'm meeting a lot of new mothers who are just at that beginning stages where their child is sitting in county jail. And they need resources and help and people. I'm trying to figure out also a legal team, if I can find lawyers that can come in and join me on the pod to talk about, some steps that mothers should take without, some mothers have been scammed by lawyers. So I'm really trying to, if you guys know anybody that's willing to join, I would love that. Just get information because there's so many mothers that saying, Tiffany, I dropped $15,000 and nothing happened.
Great.
Yeah. It makes me so angry. I could get so passionate about things, but I just came from that conference where I had met the lady who works for Victorious Living a couple of years ago, and I've made some really great connections and networking there. But one of the things they taught us was who do you know that I need to know? Right. So everybody you meet that you tell your story to or what you do, you need to ask them, who do you know that I need to know? And that's how I connected with Christina, the one who works for the magazine. I went around.
So who do you know, Denise? Who do you know that we need to know?
I don't know, but I'm thinking.
No, who do you know, Denise, that I need to know? Because there's a lot of mothers that are
people this last week, guys.
I need to know.
I don't know if they're really in your state, but
it doesn't matter. It does not matter what state, because I deal with over 20,000 mothers that are joining that follow the platform.
I don't want to
in different states.
Like I said, it's a fantastic conference. Carol Kent puts it on actually for speakers and writers. And I just
should I be a part of this conference then? Should I be one of the panelists?
Anybody can go to it. Yes.
No, I need to be on the stage.
You need to talk to Carol about. She's phenomenal. She's funny. She's very authentic, and she's been through it. She's been through it.
Well, we all have been through it though. So let's.
I know.
I understand.
He's got no parole.
There's a lot
He's
of
never
mothers
coming home
too.
without a tag toe, she says.
I understand, but Denise, there's a lot of mothers that attach to me that have that
Yes,
same
yes, yes, I
story.
know.
So I
But
hear a lot of stories, and I'm just here for the mothers. And I
I
think
am
this
too.
platform just for resources. And on my end, of what God has called me for is for the mothers. I'm not about that. I love the inmates, but that's not what God has called me for. I know my assignment. My assignment is to help mothers to get unstuck, to get to the other side. Because here's my question: as you guys are watching this live, if you are unalive tomorrow, if you do not wake up tomorrow and you go see Jesus and you see the rest of the people that's in the heavens, God's going to ask you a question about your gifts and your talents. He's not going to ask you about your
Yes,
incarcerated daughter or
absolutely.
son. He's not. He's going to ask you. So that is my assignment. I'm here to get the mothers to get unstuck. And, you have Dr. Gigi who has who has the resources for therapy. Because people sometimes don't. I'm not a therapist, but I can tell you how to get to the other side of what God has called you for, to discover who you are as a woman. That is what I'm called for, but I'm not a therapist. So therapy is what helped me. And I'm pretty sure Tammy, Dr. Gigi, you guys can relate to how therapy
Absolutely.
got you out of the most darkest hole of your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's also the Osborne Association. I think that's nationwide. Have
Mhm.
you heard of that, Gigi?
I have, yeah. That's actually
Yeah.
one of the ones on my list too
Okay,
that
good.
I'll make sure I share. I'll
Yes.
also, Tiffany, I have one of the things that's helped me too is just journaling. And I
Mm-hmm.
think to be able to go back, like, I was, when you said, when you got that call, that very first call, like that came crashing back for me. I mean, that's so clear in my mind. And I didn't know where to turn or what to do. And luckily I found the mamas and all of that. But I did start journaling. So I have a few prompts I'll share for that too, because I think that can be helpful. And I think after we've been through and we're able to kind of see our path after that very overwhelming beginning, I think that can be helpful, and even helpful to go back and look and see how
Yeah.
far maybe we've come.
Yeah.
But also to know that, like, the good and bad days, that roller coaster doesn't stop. It,
It
I was
does
gonna say,
not.
yeah, when you're having a bad day, go back and it
yeah,
helps you to like, okay, yeah, let me get moving again. Like
yeah.
Tiffany says, get out and walk.
And
Yeah.
I'll also I'll do like a little handout that's on grounding. That's one of the other things that I found too. Sometimes just staying connected to the present moment, and prayer is also a helpful thing. But sometimes I even needed to center myself before I could do that. And sometimes just doing like sensory grounding and looking for things I hear and see and just slowing things down and being present in that moment then also allowed me to be my most prayerful self too.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Before we go for ending, I love this. This is good. What is the one thing that you want to share with mothers who are freshly brand new, and what advice would you give them? Tammy, go. I want you to go first.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I would say, do not carry that shame. Hold your head high. And, I mean, if your son makes the news or, is on TV or whatever in the paper, don't don't hide and just hold your head high. Like, I forget who said it before. You did not commit the act or whatever. Um, Start 100%, like Gigi said, journal, and join as many groups as you can. Find the one that works for you. They're not going to all work for you. Like I said, I have two, this one and the CJ Lomas family and friends support group. That's it. That has gotten me through 10 years of this. And I go to work every day with a smile on my face. So I would say to the new moms that are facing it, just hold your head high, pray, meditate, um, journal, keep yourself busy as possible. And then do your support groups. That's going to 100% get you through.
Yes,
100% get you through.
thank you. Denise, share.
I just want to tell them to absolutely make sure that they do not give Satan a foothold. I mean, don't listen to his lies. He's going to tell you everything horrible in the world, and he's going to tell you you're all alone. You're not. Obviously, you're not. These wonderful ladies are here. We are here, and we care, and we love you. And to just be very guarded with your self-talk and what you allow yourself to listen to, because the enemy loves all this. He loves all this. And you know, Jesus went to the cross and Satan loved that. He thought, all right, we got him. He's on the cross. And God turned that around. So he's going to he could turn anything around. It's not over. Life isn't over. It's not always going to be this way. So just be very cautious to who you allow in your head or who you listen to. And just remember, you're not alone, okay?
Amen, Denise, on that part. Dr. Gigi?
I mean, I agree with everything everybody said. I think the biggest thing is to allow yourself the grace to know what you need in a moment. Sometimes we are at it and ready to go and ready to find all those resources. And sometimes we just need to take a break and crawl up in bed and cry a good cry. And, you know, there are other times when going to prayer and all of that is the important thing. So I think allow yourself the grace to know what you need in that moment and to allow the space for that. Because I think we as moms don't do that enough anyway. And then the other piece is, share your story. Like I just think destigmatizing this so that people understand that so many people they know and love are impacted by
Absolutely.
either incarceration personally or having a loved one who's incarcerated. I think it's just an important thing to know. And I think that alone is one of the paths for us being able to really speak about reform and other things, because that's what we want for our children. We want them to come out the other side to find their purpose.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Yes.
can I just add to take care of yourself first and foremost, because 9 times out of 10, the prison journey is going to help them rather than hurt them. My son tells me that he's not happy where he's at, but he's happy it ended that. I mean, landed that way, because he could probably be dead if he wasn't where he's at right now. So he's learned a lot, and taken a lot of accountability and needed that time out. So
Absolutely.
get it
Absolutely.
positive as you can.
No, yeah, absolutely. You guys know that Damiani has been through a lot. It was on lockdown, and unfortunately, I still haven't got a phone call yet. My last video visit got canceled. So I want to talk to that mother who said, Tiffany, I have not spoken to my child. I don't know which way to go. I'm going to say that it's okay to bury your face in the pillow for a while. Because I'm not going to act like I was Jesus in the beginning of when I got that call. I was mad. I was angry. I think everybody got cussed out, even the dog. And I was just upset. But after you regroup and refocus and go into your prayer closet or wherever that might be, your car, that's where you go back and you center yourself. And you do, I had to repent because I was out of control in the beginning. But it's okay to just sit in silence and don't want to talk to nobody, don't want to go on social media. It's okay if you don't want to put on that lip gloss anymore. It's okay to have your moment. I think sometimes we preach, but it's okay to have a moment to be still.
Mm-hmm.
I think people, I don't know, like it's okay to have a moment even to have a moment to be mad at God.
Oh, yes.
Were you guys mad? I was mad. Am I alone?
Yep. Nope. You're not alone.
Okay.
Look at Job. Look at David. The Bible has, got many accounts where people were ranting at God. They were mad.
Yeah, they were mad. So and I think it's okay to question God
It's
too.
normal. Yeah.
It's normal. I think because we're human. At the end of the day, we're human.
We don't get it. We don't understand.
Yeah. And to that mother that's listening to this, just know that it is okay. But I thank God that I do have a community of mothers, a Tammy, a Dr. Gigi, a Denise, that if I'm not my best, they know how to lift me up. So to the mother that doesn't have a community, we are a community of mothers that we do lift each other up in every arena of life. It may not be about incarceration. We do birthday celebrations in our group. We do move that body. Like at the end of the day, just don't sit and have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Our children need us. Our sons and daughters need us, and they want us to be healthy. And when we're healthy, that gives them a different mindset while they're in that 8x10 cell. And to that mother that feels alone, you're not alone. Join our community of mothers, because we have resources, and I'm trying to find more resources to help people. I'm just trying to find the resources for people to come together that need help. And I know that is my calling from God. And I just want to say to every mother, you're not alone and we love you. And no matter guilty, not guilty, that's still someone's child.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
Sure
still
is.
someone's child. And to that mother that that's just, I just feel like a heavy, like a mother right now is struggling right now. And I just wanted to say that it's okay to be in that moment. Because I was there at one point, but then I really got into my Bible and I went into therapy. So Dr. Gigi, we have to get all the information, the resources so we can put, because therapy did help me.
Yes,
It helped me.
Yeah.
It helped me so
definitely
much.
recommend therapy.
Right? Therapy is like,
Always.
I always say
You know-
therapy, Jesus, and some wine. You know?
Ironically, one of my best friends is a therapist, and
TJW.
she herself needs therapy because
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
like-
any good therapist will tell you that's what we do, because we need
Yeah.
to leave our baggage at the door
Right.
so that we are 100% grounded. And for sure, this was one of those things. I go back in, I think it's like Jiffy Lube. Every now and then you just need to go. Every
Yes.
1,000 miles, it's time to sit down with the trained stranger and work your stuff out.
Yes. So Dr. Gigi, how can people find you?
So I am at probably my email's the best way. So it's Dr. Gallup Larson at M as in Mary, P as in Paul, S as in Sam, LLC.com.
Okay. And Tammy, how can people find you?
Probably email tammyfri@yahoo.com.
Okay. And Denise, how can people find you?
Our website is disarminglove.org. And you could contact me through the website, or you could just email me directly at disarminglovehouse@gmail.com.
Ladies, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I'm so happy that we were able to get our schedules together to make this happen again.
Even if my technology didn't work.
Tiffany, before we go, thank you very much for all you do. It is like a double full-time job what you do for us women.
Yes.
And
God bless you.
there's not enough thanks in the world for what you do.
There are not. You are an inspiration, and you have provided a lifeline for so many of us. We're so
That's 75% of the way. I mean, how I get through every day is just like.
Tammy, you're gonna make me cry. I
You are
thank you.
invaluable to people, and I was so excited that there was a group out there like you. Because I feel like in my research, I have not found much that's for the families of the inmates. You find Angel Tree with Prison Fellowship where they get
a Christmas one that I have on my list.
You get a few things like that where they help with the kids, but they're not helping. Or there's a few hospitality houses throughout the United States that provide free places for people to stay, but the families are very much ignored. And so I love that you're helping those mothers through that. I mean,
I wasn't kidding when I said my 2 support groups are what gets,
thank you. I'm just being obedient because when I tell y'all, I said, Jesus, you want me to do what?
Yeah, exactly.
You said yes, you're doing it.
Like, Jesus, now I've been praying about the red carpet. This is not what I wanted to do, but they say obedience is better than sacrifice. So I'm being obedient to God, and I'm just going to keep doing what I know He's called me to do, and that's to mothers, because I have a heart for mothers, because I don't want to get teary-eyed, but I might. It's hard.
It is. It's the most humbling job there is.
It's hard, and there's a lot of mothers that are struggling, and I know that, and that's where my heart. I just have a heart for mothers, because the pain that we carry, we got to get up and go to work, and we got to put on this smile, and sometimes we just got to call that our child is going to be in solitary confinement, and while you're about to walk into that office, but you got to be, but you have to put on a smile, and it's hard. And I'm just here doing God's work. That's all I can say.
Right. Yep.
And I thank you, ladies, so much from the bottom of my heart. Don't hang up when I end the live. Don't hang up. Okay. But thank you guys so much for being on here with us. And I'm gonna put I know you guys said where they can find you, but I'm going to also put it in the comments and the websites and the links to where people can, contact, and then the resources that we provided on this live. So I'm definitely going to put that all in. And you ladies are amazing, and thank you so much. And thank you to Stephanie. I see Betty. I see Monica, Monique. I see Ellie on here. Thank you guys. I see Angie. Angie is in the building. Hey, Angie. I just want to say thank you, all ladies from the group. And thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And I love you guys so much, and thank you.
Yep. Remember, ladies, there's hope.
Yes. Yes. This too